It's your boy SIR-DONAVIN. Look, it's Christmas Eve, so you know we gotta heat it up. This is Home for the Holidays by Destiny's Child off of their holiday album, 8 Days of Christmas, track number 13, the bonus edition, in the key of A major, tempo 104 beats per minute. Let's get it. All right, so that's the first 4 bars, right? So what I did, I had to bounce that in place because I wanted to have a smooth, nice fade in. But I'm going to break it down even further. Look. So I'm going to go ahead and solo that, zoom in on it so you guys can see what I'm doing. So if you listen to the song, you're going to hear the melody, which is the most tedious part. So I loaded up an instrument track, right? And I loaded in a preset from Alchemy. It's called Sound of Life. And it sounds like this. So that was the first section, the first loop. I actually did 3 different loops. So that was the intro loop, and then I went ahead and did the second loop. I did all of these, I transcribed these online. They have a bunch of services or websites online that you could use to transcribe your chords and notes, get the melody down, and you actually can play with it. I've actually been getting better at drawing in chords and melodies. This is free game, a bonus tip. I don't know what happened to the quantization, but I had it on A major, right? What you're going to want to do is use the brush tool. So you're going to basically put in the notes, and whatever you quantize the scale to, it won't let you hit any off key. This time around, I raised the first chord up an octave, so it goes like this. And combined with the first melody loop, it would sound like this. Now, you got to get the drums right. That part took the longest for me. That part was very puzzling, and I just did not have the patience to sit and program my own drums. So what I went ahead and did was use a drum pattern. Let's pull up Drum Machine Designer. I use Soulfire Kit. You go over here, All Sounds, Electronic Drum Kits, Soulfire right here. So for the drums, the kick on the first beat, and the snare on the second. Once my keys and my drums were out the way, I felt like it needed a little bit more percussion, so that's exactly what I did. This right here is a quick hi-hat loop that was at the end of the first bar. I created a pattern region, Birdland Calls, which was a sound in Drum Machine Designer, and it goes like this. Okay, so then I followed up with additional percussion to kind of fill in the empty space between the drums and the keys. All together, that sounds like... Nice. So this is the second loop that I transcribed through an online website. They have tons of them. You can just Google melody transcription and you'll find a website where you're able to transcribe whatever melody from whatever song you want. Free game. So to fill out the first verse, I repeated a 4-bar piano loop. Sounds like this. And I just repeated that section again. For this section, the drums are pretty much the same. They don't change up. Percussion too. If you go to Apple Loops, you'll see software instrument loops. That's where I got the percussion loop that I used to fill in that first section. And it's also where I got these pad loops for the rest of the arrangement. And it sounds like this. And I just repeated it. Altogether, verse 1 sounds like this. Moving on to the pre-chorus, the third melody is going to sound like this. So this was the most tedious part of the entire production because I am intermediate, and I think Logic is actually perfect for intermediate level engineers because they have so many sounds and different packs and loops, and just the overall workflow in Logic is pretty much crafted for intermediate to beginner level. The drums and percussion are going to stay the same throughout the entire section of the song. Now, let's focus on the second half of the pre-chorus, which goes like this. It's just to add presence. So there is a ton of reverb on here. I really slapped reverb on this track because I just wanted it to fill in some of that empty space. I wanted it to sound different from the first half of the pre-chorus. So if you listen to the entirety of it, this is what you get. You see how it kind of transforms the pre-chorus to get ready for that impact of the chorus. The actual chorus didn't actually need as much filler, so I left out the pads and I also left out the additional melody that I added. So it goes like this. So what I'm hearing is that the chorus really strongly focuses on the keys and the drums. Verse 2 is exactly like verse 1, no different. One tip I would say, keep your arrangement simple. If you're intermediate or a beginner, you don't need to go ahead and do what I did and just transcribe the entire melody from the song. Go ahead and just repeat a few sections and give it a little bit of variation, but don't overdo it because you're going to overwhelm yourself and you're probably not going to finish or complete your work. Take it from me. Now, the pre-chorus and the chorus, they just are repeating sections, but the only section that is a little bit different and where I added a little bit of my own spice is the bridge where Michelle comes in. Now, I brought back those pads and I also took out the main melodic source of this song. So the bridge actually sounds completely different, as it should, from any other section in this piece. It almost allows for vocal experimentation because it's so simple. Back into the pre-chorus. First half, that second half, that switch. Now let's focus on the end of this thing right here. The breakdown. So we go ahead and add back in that pad track, but we don't want any of those strings in there, right? So I muted that, I muted our violins, and then I faded out. I bounced the rest of the arrangement in place to fade out at the end very smoothly. Let's give that a listen.